actually begin kind of like how we normally begin Mondays here on the Daily 8 with a check-in with Miranda. Unfortunately, though, she was unable to join us for this conversation, but it still has something to do with her initiative of how's it really going. We spoke to two members of Wedgwood Christian Services now that the first couple of weeks of the school year are now underway, and we learned a little bit more about how you can go ahead and ask your kids, how's it really going now that the school year is already underway. Nick, Asha, thank you both so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. And we're kind of, again, following in the footsteps of Miranda's How's It Really Going campaign, bringing on the incredible work that Wedgwood Christian Services are doing, especially with back to school kind of in the mix now. I know you guys in particular have probably seen a bit of a rise in the amount of people looking for some counseling options, again, as that new school year starts, never really know what to expect kind of going into that next phase of your life.
Yeah, that's true. We've had an increase in, we kind of see this pretty often in terms of when summer ends, we have an increase of referrals and participation when it comes to kids, which is normal because that structure of the school year has returned. Mm-hmm. It's something that we look forward to and prepare for and sort of recover from the unstructured time that was the summer.
Right. Now, it's going to be kind of my next question was, this is something that you guys are pretty prepared for, something that you guys see pretty often, especially with that new school year starting.
Yeah, so we see an increase in referrals for psychiatric care as well as for counseling. Usually it's like a good month or so into school up to like that first report card, either with behaviors in the classroom or concerns that teachers may have regarding certain diagnoses. And so then parents will come to set up appointments to come in to assess their child or to start counseling services or medication management.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that obviously parents, maybe this is going to be their first time, maybe their student or their child is, finally showing signs or maybe asking, hey, I would like to speak to somebody, I'm not feeling too well. I've got all this anxiety. I'm not feeling so great about my classes or something like that. This is when you guys kind of step in and provide that space to kind of mitigate not only the questions that these children might be having, but then also help out these parents to, again, continue that work and keeping their kids just, as safe as possible.
Absolutely. It's establishing a safe space for kids, individuals, adults to talk about any issues or feelings they might be having when it comes to school, life, family, anything along those lines. I think it's really good for kids to get involved at this stage to build that lifelong connection when it comes to their mental health, their well-being, self-care, different things like that, and especially destigmatizing counseling, therapy, and asking for help. Because I know we all need that at some point in our lives, and that actually at many points in our lives it's needed. And that's really, it's something we strive to create therapy, be this positive space for kids, so something that they can return to for various points that they need throughout their adulthood.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that kind of, again, brings up the point of the How's It Really Going campaign, because it could be as easy as just asking somebody, how's it really going? But it can be a little bit difficult sometimes to bridge that gap and also make maybe that first point of contact, whether it's with your child or maybe your friend or somebody you know. What are maybe some good pointers or some good steps for people to take to, again, maybe initiate that conversation and then also possibly seek out further help if it's needed?
Yeah, so I think the first thing, a therapist office or counseling, just to come in to be able to talk about what you're experiencing, and then just to have someone, a therapist, to walk alongside you, give you coping skills, just be a listening ear if needed to what you may be experiencing.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And of course, that has a lot to deal with some of the things that we and children especially have been dealing with, with the back to school issues. But also, we are approaching September, which is Suicide Prevention Month. Really quickly, kind of just want to go over some tips to just kind of keep in mind. And I want to start off not by how we can maybe help somebody else, but maybe help ourselves, because I feel like there has been maybe this change in the dynamic and now people are maybe paying a little bit more attention to how their friends are reacting or maybe picking up on some of the signs from their family members. But but maybe aren't paying enough attention to how they're feeling or maybe how they're dealing with stuff. Do you guys have any tips on maybe how to step back, maybe outside of your body a little bit and just kind of double check on yourself and maybe make sure that you're doing okay, especially in a month like this when, it's really at the focal point of so many people?
Absolutely. I think there's many different ways that we can check in with ourselves on our own mental health, our own well-being, our own needs. Some do that through journaling or self-meditation reflection or conversations with our pets, whatever that might be, to talk about how we're really feeling. I think it's really important that we destigmatize therapy and mental health support in terms of maybe that someone may just not be feeling quite right. There's a hobby I enjoyed that I find myself not quite enjoying anymore, or that I struggle to get out of bed in the morning, and that it's time I start talking to someone. It does not, creating that idea that it does not have to be an emergency, it does not have to be a crisis or traumatic event that triggers reaching out for help. It can just be something's just not quite right, and reaching out to talk to somebody about that, either a trained professional, a school counselor, a parent, a trusted relative, anything along those lines to get that support can really start that. It's kind of what is the phrase? Prevention is much better than the cure type thing is sort of what we're looking for.
And of course, you touched on it a little bit, Nick. I mean, there are so many different options out there for people to maybe get that help. I mean, just any other options, if you wouldn't mind just going a little bit further into detail about just things you would like. Absolutely. And Asha, I mean, we always kind of try to tie it back into how's it really going. I mean, just a really great campaign and tons of awesome resources available to everybody right now on our website through that initiative. I mean, these kids are facing these days, and also Suicide Prevention Month. I mean, these are the types of things that really make How's It Really Going just such a vital resource, and included part of why Wedgwood wanted to partner with this campaign.
Yeah, so, with suicide, it is a hard conversation to have for a lot of people, and to be open about that they're having those type of thoughts or even attempts. And so kind of, I guess, normalizing that these conversations do exist and they do need to be had. And then also there might be other measures. There are like the 988 phone number that you can call, which is a suicide hotline. And there's someone on the other end of that phone that is able to talk to you and also connect to you to other services if needed. And then, like Nick mentioned earlier, Network 180. There's crisis mobile phone numbers and crisis mobile line as well. And so there's many community resources. And if anything, there might be 911 if we can't think of any other phone numbers, and they'll also be able to assist you or going to the nearest emergency room as well.
Absolutely. Well, Nick and Asha, thank you both so much for being here. Obviously, a lot of important conversations, and we were so glad to have this one with you guys today. So thank you so much for stopping by. And special thanks to Asha and Nick for the time. Again, we do have more information on Wedgwood and also the How's It Really Going campaign right now over on our website, woodtv.com.